If I could call to order the Jackson County Board of Commissioners meeting for June 20th, 2017. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. Tompkins.
Lord, is it on?
Yes, sir.
Lord, thank you for everything you have given us. May we have kindness, love, and understanding in our hearts and treat others with respect, kindness, and dignity. Amen.
Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner Leitner? Here. Commissioner Walls? Here. Commissioner Rice?
Here.
Commissioner Duckham? Here. Commissioner Tompkins?
Here.
Commissioner Mahoney?
Here.
Commissioner Plachek?
Here.
Commissioner Elwell?
Here.
Chairman Chatwa?
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Entertain a motion for approval of the agenda. We have a motion by Commissioner Plachek, supported by Commissioner Tompkins. Any questions or comments? Any deletions or corrections? Seeing or hearing none, are we all in favor of the agenda? Please say aye. Opposed, the same sign. Duly carried. We have no awards and recognition this evening. Is there any written communications or petitions to come before the board? Please present them to the clerk at this time. Seeing none, we have no special hearings, special orders, or public hearings. At this time, we've arrived at the first opportunity for public comment. Public comment are, each individual will state their name. They have 3 minutes to address the board. You may only address the board once under this public comment opportunity and may not yield your time to others. The board members will not debate nor answer questions at this time. First public comment. Anyone?
Dustin Krasny, District Director of Operations for Congressman Tim Walberg's office. It's my honor to be here representing Congressman Walberg. It's been a while since I've been here, but I wanted to give you a quick legislative update on the things that he's been working on. I'll try to talk as quickly as I can to get as much as I can in that 2 minutes and 59 seconds, sir. This term, the Congressman's on Energy and Commerce Committee. It is maybe the most powerful committee in Washington, which he has the honor of serving and representing you all on. It has oversight over health care. We obviously know the challenges that are facing our country with regard to health care and making it more affordable and more accessible for our residents. It also has oversight over telecommunications issues. And he continues to advocate for more rural broadband, in particular access. Also has oversight over some trade issues. He is also on the Education and Workforce Committee. Yet again, it's a passion of his to reform our education system. Believes more local control is better, and is a champion of career technical education. In fact, this Thursday, coming out of his committee, the Education and Workforce Committee, is the CTE, Career Technical Education Perkins Bill, which is probably the biggest piece of legislation all year to continue to advocate for, to fund, and to promote career technical training. In our district, obviously manufacturing is huge, in Jackson in particular. And the Congressman's been a partner and a promoter and advocate of the program that we have here with regard to high schools, the Career Center, and community colleges. And so he's very excited for that bill that's going to come out on Thursday. Be happy to send you a copy of that piece of legislation. When it comes to here in the district, I just got done speaking with a advocacy group with Mike Hurst and many family members that are battling the addiction that has happened in our community. It's not singularly happening in this county. It's all over, but Jackson is taking steps to address it. The Congressman's voted for legislation, is on the bipartisan task force. The CARE legislation, which was huge, which will create a program in DOJ to specifically target the opioid, the scourge epidemic that's in our community. Also, the last spending bill, $350 million increase just for this year, $350 million increase in spending for programs to help battle the heroin epidemic. And with 30 seconds left, I would just say that in this very room, not too long ago, the congressman held yet another town hall coffee hour to communicate with his residents what he is advocating for in Washington and to keep that dialogue open. Last term, he was in the top 10 members of all of members of Congress. Of 535 members, he was in the top 10 of holding those town halls. And a couple weeks ago, right across the street, he held a jobs fair like he always does right here to try to match up career opportunities for our local residents. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, or I'll go home and tuck my son in. Mike says go home and tuck my son in. What do you? Thank you very much.
Any other public comment?
Peter Bormuth. There was an 11th century Islamic philosopher and religious leader, Al-Ghazali, or Ghazali, not sure how you pronounce his name, I've only read it. He's still famous in the Islamic world today. And he wasn't too fond of Hellenistic philosophy and science, which had come into the Islamic world from Greece. And at that time, after the fall of the Roman Empire, and Islam was actually the shining light of illumination and intelligence and science at that time. And he said, we don't need this. It's foreign. All we need is God. Read the Quran. And people like our education secretary and some of our members of Congress are thinking the same today. They don't want science taught anymore, no climate change, no science taught. They want in our classrooms the teaching of the Bible, the teaching of a story. What you are doing is you are setting up your children and grandchildren to be citizens of a third world country. You are setting up the decline of the United States of America. I'd like to point out that today China has a larger economy than we do. Students in China, they are now publishing more scientific studies than we are. I suggest your current direction is mistaken, and I'd like to see this country go back to a secular, humanist, and scientific viewpoint and leave this conservative and reactionary religion behind. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Hi, I'm Tony Bear. I'm going to take the opposite viewpoint. We need more Christian principles taught in our schools. 50 to 60 years ago, when schools started with prayers, we didn't have shootings in schools. Life was more civil. People were more respectful. You didn't have drug problems in schools. 50 years ago, the biggest problem that schools listed that they had was gum chewing. That was the worst discipline problem they had. Wouldn't that be nice to have that problem today as our worst problem? I think if you want to fix our schools, fix our society, start teaching more Christian principles like they were. 100 plus years ago, the schools, the teachings were from the Bible, the reading lessons were from the Bible. There weren't a lot of other books around, so that was the book that they used to teach reading. So I would encourage our schools to go back a ways and start doing some of their old methods. Back in mid-60s is when they took prayer out of schools. Since then, you've got more violence in the schools, more teen pregnancies, more school dropout, fewer people finishing their education and coming out of schools with a viable, useful education that they could get a job and feed their family with. So I would recommend, if we can do anything with our schools, help them get back to basing what they teach upon Christian principles. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on. We have a special meeting of Affairs and Agencies for JDOT Amtrak Michigan Avenue Bridge Design Phase, chaired by Commissioner Elwell. Commissioner Elwell, I will ask you at this time, we will waylay the Board of Commissioners meeting, and you can go ahead and run your standing committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll remain in our seats and meet from here. The issue, as the chair has laid out, is a Michigan Avenue Bridge Amtrak agreement. Mike, the administrator, called me on Friday. As you read through the document, you see there was a June 16th is when they received it, and it's a timely request. Chris is here if anybody has any, from the Road Commission or Road Department is here if anybody has any questions of them, and we'd be looking to approve the agreement, which is the expenditure of $60,600, as well as authorizing the administrator and the chair to sign the agreement. Members, any questions? Go ahead, John.
No, I'm sorry, I had no questions. I was ready to make a motion.
Go for it. And this will be forwarding it to the full board.
Yes, and forward it to
Motion and support. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Sent to the full board. Thanks for your input, Chris.
You're welcome.
We arrived at the minutes of the May 16th, 2017 meeting. Entertain a motion to approve. We have a motion by Commissioner, Vice Chair Duckham, supported by Commissioner Rice. Madam Clerk, could you post?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I'm a yes. Oh, there we go, it just showed up. Board of Commissioners concurs with the minutes and approves them from May 16th, 2017. We have now arrived at the consent agenda. Entertain a motion for the consent agenda. Moved by Commissioner Leitner, supported by Vice Chair Duckham. Any questions or items for removal for consideration elsewhere? Seeing nor hearing none, clerk will post. We'll let it go. If it matters, we'll change it next month.
Okay.
While the computer shows it's 8-1, it is 9-0 for the consent agenda.
Don't trust those computers.
Standing Committee Affairs and Agencies chaired by Commissioner David Elwell. Commissioner Elwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First up, we have a series of appointments. The first is the Department on Aging Advisory Council. We have 2 open seats. We have an applicant and a recommendation from committee for the public member expiring December of 2018. The applicant and recommendation is Carrie Good.
Is there any nominations from the floor? Seeing nor hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Commissioner Elwell.
Next is the Retirement Board. It's 1 general pension member. This is a chair appointment. Denise Owens was the applicant, met the approval of the chair, so we'd be concurring with his recommendation of Denise Owens.
We have a motion. Do we have support? We have support by Commissioner Mahoney. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Duly carried. Commissioner Elwell.
Next is the Sanitary Code Board of Appeals, public members. The first seat is the main appointment, which expires January of 2021. Leland Preble is the applicant and the committee recommendation.
Any nominations from the floor? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Duly carried.
That still leaves an open alternate seat for a contractor. Next up, we have the well driller main appointment. The applicant is Charles Sebastian III, and he's also the recommendation of committee for the term expiring January of 2020.
Any nominations from the floor? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Duly carried.
That still leaves the alternate for the well driller as an open seat. And lastly, we have the Community Corrections Advisory Board. It's one public member reserved for the media. John Hummer is the applicant, or one of the applicants. John Hayes was the second one. John Hummer is the recommendation from committee.
Does Mr. Hayes meet the requirement for a media?
By my reading of his application, no.
Okay. So we have one candidate that's been nominated. Any nominations from the floor? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Duly carried. Commissioner Elwell.
That takes us to the matter forwarded from committee in the standing committee meeting of the Michigan Avenue Bridge Amtrak agreement. And as you all heard, we recommended this to the full board for approval. And I believe our director is still here if there's any more questions than last time.
Getting his exercise.
So I'd be recommending approval of the Michigan Avenue Bridge Amtrak agreement and authorizing the administrator and chair to sign the agreement and the expenditure of $60,000, I believe $600.
So moved.
Correction, $60,060.
Do you have your, who made the motion? Who seconded? Or, Sarah?
Okay, thank you.
Yes. We have motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing no, hearing none, the vote should be in front of you. Motion passed 9-0. Thank you again, Christopher.
You're welcome.
That's all I have to report, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Standing Committee Human Services, chaired by Commissioner Carl Rice. Commissioner Rice?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Human Services has no business to come before the board tonight.
Standing Committee Personnel and Finance, chaired by Vice Chairman Phil Duckham. Commissioner Duckham?
Thank you, Thank you, Mr. Chair. We, however, don't have any business to conduct tonight. Thank you.
We've arrived at unfinished business. Any unfinished business to be brought before the board by commissioners? Seeing nor hearing none, any new business to come before the Board of Commissioners? Seeing no, hearing none, we've arrived at the second opportunity for public comment. Rules apply as they did under the first public comment, only you have 2 minutes at this time. Please step forward, say your name, and address the board, please.
Peter Bormuth, responding to the gentleman's comments. There was a...
Mr. Bormuth, you're to address the Board of Commissioners, please, not
Yes.
someone else in the audience.
Yes,
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
facing you, sir. There was a case in the state of Ohio. It was called the Board of Education of the City of Cincinnati versus Minor. It was decided in 1871, so nearly 150 years ago, and they ruled that prayer and hymn singing in the schools was unconstitutional. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Tony Bear. Yeah, the devil's always getting people to do his work. Sometimes the devil's successful.
Any other public comment? Seeing nor hearing none. Commissioner comments? Commissioner Duckham.
I'd like to remind everybody that the administrator's review is due the 23rd of this month. Please make sure you get it completed if you want to have a voice. Thank you.
Commissioner Leitner?
I only want to talk about fun stuff. We have the Jackson County Fair coming up starting August 6th. The 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, we're going to have shows in the grandstands. On the 6th, we're going to have a comedian group, the Tenderloins. We still have tickets available for that, a few. And then Monday, we're going to have a rock show, Stone Sour, Skillet, and Alter Bridge. The Tuesday, the 8th, we're going to have Flow Ride on Macy Kate. And then Wednesday, we're going to have an old-time country show. I call it old-time classic country, I guess. Mark Chestnut, Sammy Kershaw, and, who was the other one? Aaron Tippin. And then Thursday, we have the 105.3 karaoke contest. Friday and Saturday, we're going to have demolition derby and a rodeo. And then also, I want to do a shout out for the large animal auction. The 4-H large animal auction is Thursday, August 10th at 4 o'clock. If you're going to be a buyer, though, there's a luncheon before the auction as well, so you're welcome to come down there and buy up some large animals.
Commissioner Rice?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I say this every year about this time. It's not the Jackson County Fair, but the Carp Carnival is at Michigan Center. Starts Thursday through Sunday. It's a wonderful time for family, so I'd certainly encourage anybody who wants to stop down there. The food they have down there is actually the type of food that Brad Floyd really loves to eat, so everybody knows what they're serving then. So, all right, thank you.
Any other commissioner comments?
Well,
Commissioner Plotchek?
yeah, if you come into the city, there's something going on every weekend, so there's just too much to mention, but come on down, you'll find something to do.
Any other commissioners? Seeing nor hearing none, we have no closed session. At this time, entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion and support. All in favor, please say aye. Those opposed?